Hi guys, I'm Mr. Savard at Fisher Summit here in Ottawa. I'm here to tell you a little bit about lacrosse today. So lacrosse is our summer national sport here in Canada. It was first played by Aboriginals here in Canada. They usually play tribe against tribe, so they play miles apart. They would usually play with a human skull or an animal skull, not a rubber ball like we see today. The sticks they used were made out of wood, not metal and plastic. And they would use deer hide and moose hide in order to make the netting that came on it. The stick usually would curve around like this, and then netting would come to meet. It was a very violent sport back then. You were allowed to hit people across the knees. You were allowed to break bones, things like that. So it was very violent. But at the end of the, could be 2-day long match, they would have a big celebration, a big dinner together. So a bit of honor involved in it as well, and there's a lot of pride from your village if you win that game. So that's where the history of our game comes from and why it's considered to be one of our national sports today. Okay, so with our lacrosse stick, these ones have a metal shaft. The head is plastic with some mesh in the middle to help hold the ball. You don't want it to be too deep, otherwise the ball won't come out when you're trying to throw it. But with the stick, generally our hand placement, our bottom hand, for myself, I'm dominant right hand, so my left hand's going to go on the bottom. The top hand is the one that controls all the actions that we use playing lacrosse. From that, I put 2 pieces of tape on here, which is great for when you're learning lacrosse. The bottom one is generally if you want to throw it further or throw it harder, you're going to put your hand close to the bottom. You've got about 6 to 8 inches difference between your hands. The higher one is if you want to throw a little bit more control and a little bit of shorter passes. And that just generally places a spot so you know where to judge where to put your hand. Lacrosse, the ball on the ground is called a ground ball. There's several different ways to pick it up. The first thing that you're probably going to want to work on after you've got the technique with your hand placement on the racket, on the stick, is how to pick it up. So the first easiest way to do it would be called a scoop. And so I'm going to demonstrate that now. You're running along or just still, and you're just going to scoop underneath the ball, and it's in there for you, and then begin cradling, which we'll go over shortly. The second form is to pull towards yourself and then scoop. The final one is called the Indian pickup, and again comes from our Aboriginal friends that taught us the game. And so generally you're going to use probably just one hand on the stick. This one takes a lot more practice, but you're going to roll the ball this way and then scoop it up. So if you're going to do that a little bit quicker and into your basket. There you go. The next skill we're going to learn is the most fundamental skill of lacrosse. It's called the cradle. And the cradle is what keeps the ball in the head of your stick. The important part here is that there's always a bit of force put upon the ball to keep it deep into the webbing that's on here. So this is called the cradle, what I'm doing right now. You can see the action that's here is not a stiff fist that I'm holding onto and squeezing it. You're also going to see that I have my hand on the top part of the tape. But with that, you're using your fingers, and it's gently in my fingers here, but as the motion comes through, you're rolling those hands up and down. And then the force actually keeps the ball in here. You are not allowed to put your thumb in the ball, like sometimes you see the professional lacrosse players do to try to get away with it, to hold it in there. In the game of lacrosse, not the way that we're going to play, but what you do see in professional is that you're allowed to hack people and hit them to knock the ball out. We're not going to play like that, however, based on we don't have all the equipment. But to use that, you're using this now, and you can turn different ways and to protect the ball from any defender that's on you trying to get the ball away. You can then turn from there to pass the ball to someone else. And so that cradling motion as you're running is a natural running motion as well. You can see by my bottom hand, it's just a pivot. It doesn't actually do a whole lot. It might turn a little bit. One thing that we see from a lot of beginners, they turn their hands the wrong way. And so as they come up, they turn their hands backwards and they just kind of twist it around. So make sure it's loose in your wrist and you're making a nice swinging motion, and you'll see that ball stick nicely in the web. So we have Nick here now. He's going to help demonstrate how to do a face-off in lacrosse. Face-off begins the game, and in addition begins each period. And anytime there's a goal, we have a face-off at center. So similar to soccer, however in soccer one team gets possession of the ball. In this case, both teams fight for possession of the ball. So the open side of the racket will be facing your own end. So you take a backhand, and you both go down. You can take a forehand grip, or you can turn your hand over and have a backhand. The ball goes between each stick's webbing, and from there you battle for possession of the ball. You have to be very careful because your shoulders and your head are not allowed to pass over the head of your own racket or where the ball is. So with that in mind, you've got to kind of balance yourself onto your hands, get nice and low. The ball goes in between the webbing. When the ref blows the whistle, you fight for possession. So, okay, and then it goes from there. My team has possession. We go into the offensive zone. We start passing the ball around, and hopefully they take a shot out of net. Okay. So the next skill we're going to learn is how to pass the lacrosse ball. Passing, again, fundamental part of the game. The game of lacrosse is most like basketball. There's an indoor game and an outdoor game. Our indoor game is played in a hockey arena in the same ice surface, but without the ice. It's covered or it's on a concrete slab. And so the game is involved with a lot of passing. So similar offense to basketball, we need to pass the ball a lot. In order to do that, we're going to move in a longer pass. We're going to move our hand down to this piece of tape and to pass very long. For a shorter pass, our hand comes up here for more control. And again, to start that pass, make sure whoever you're passing with gives you a nice big target with their lacrosse stick. From there, you're going to lead with the butt end, and this being the butt end, you're going to lead to that part. You're going to pull with the bottom hand and push with the top hand, and following through with a nice flat face of your stick will pass the ball where we'd like it to go. And from there, hopefully we cradle it nicely, and then begin to cradle. After your pass, you want to get moving somewhere else and make a cut to get open so that they can pass back, or you just keep your offensive players moving in the offensive zone. So that pass again, butt end, leading forward, pulling with the bottom hand, and forward with the next. Again, passes can come from the side, they can come across. Generally they're over the top, but again, your defenders might catch on, so you need to try a few different things to pass that ball around in the offensive zone. The next really important skill is how to catch a lacrosse ball. Catching very similar to other sports, you need to cradle the ball. It needs to come in nice and gentle, but then you're trying to catch an egg, and that egg is going to break if you're a little too hard on it. So with this in mind, you're going to have a nice flat face for the stick. Again, your butt end is facing forward towards your target. The flat face is here. You have the basket in which to catch the ball as it comes in. But again, this will bounce out if you just hold it still, so you do have to cradle it and bring it back to yourself. From there, go right into a cradling motion to protect that ball and keep it in your stick here. So again, I'm going to show you how it works. And nice cradle and bring it in. And then we can do that one more time. Alright, here you go, box it up. And again, doesn't matter where that ball is, you can make adjustments to catch it here in cradle. And again, on the sides, doesn't matter where that is, you can make adjustments, but you do want a flat front to the stick here, and you're going to be great. And to cradle that in, and then from there, move into your cradling action, then pass off. Anyway, so now Mr. Tompkins and I are going to show you a little bit of passing. Just back and forth. If you notice where our hands are for some of the shorter passes, leading with the butt end and following through, and then how we cradle it as well to catch. So as you can see, changing the face as to wherever it is, going down low, making adjustments for both of us, because obviously we can't pass perfectly every time, but making adjustments, cradle the ball as it comes in, very important. An important part of shooting as well is to follow through towards the knee on the other side, so the opposite knee. That's going to allow for a lot of force, but also for you to protect your stick from any defenders get hit. So again, now on the side, so again you're trailing, you're protecting the ball, open shot bounce. So in lacrosse, as an offensive player, Mr. Tompkins being on the offense right now, he's not allowed in the crease. Only the goalie's allowed in the crease. Defenders are allowed to pass through, but that's it. So offensive player, he's not allowed in the crease, but he wants to put a little fake on the goalie. So he's going to be coming around. Goalie has read the shot. He's going to make a move now to take care of that. Yeah. You're coming in from the side, you fake the forehand, and come back around. Hopefully it goes in though. Hi guys, Mr. Suard here again. Just want to run through a couple quick things with lacrosse, a little summary for you. Anyways, when you're learning from Miss Morgan and Miss Ovens down in Antigua, they're going to let you know that the indoor game, played 5-on-5 plus a goalie, is very similar to basketball. So the way offense is run, everybody's on the offense at once when you have possession of the ball, and everybody's playing defense, very similar to a man-to-man defense or a zone defense where you're taking care of a certain area on the court. Your outdoor game, if you're playing outside, is much more like a soccer game. You're playing 10-on-10 plus a goalie, so very much like soccer as you move the ball up and you have defenders and midfielders and offensive players as well. So the goalies though, however, are very special. They're the only ones that are allowed in the crease. Once they have possession of the ball, they have to move it within 5 seconds. And with that in mind, no one else is allowed in the crease. Defensive players can travel through the crease. Your offensive players are not allowed to step in it whatsoever, so you definitely have to shoot the ball before you get there. It's a very fast game, that's for sure. So similar to soccer, but played with your hands now and a lacrosse stick. Don't call it a racket. I know I did that yesterday, but it is a lacrosse stick. There's no offsides at all, so no offsides whatsoever. You don't have to worry about that. But by all means, everybody come back, play defense, and everybody play offense as well. Other than that, guys, that's just a quick little summary I wanted to add to everything I told you yesterday. So have fun playing our national summer sport and enjoy the game of lacrosse. Thanks.